To the smartest people in the room. We are glad you are here, and just by showing up today, you're already demonstrating your very own smarts. Today, I am thrilled to kick off Black History Month by presenting an iconic artist who's one of the most positive and inspiring people you will ever meet. I promise you will leave smarter and more enlightened than you arrived. Before we get started, please let me take care of some business. First, to the audience, please feel free to introduce yourselves in the chat window. The reason we do these webinars is twofold. First, we want to showcase really smart people and the amazing work they do day to day in the music industry. But the second reason is a bit more nuanced. Many of you know that I am a music industry headhunter. I run the music practice at Turnkey ZRG, and I place music executives in roles throughout the industry. So by definition and function, I help people connect with companies. In this series, my goal is to help you make more connections, and I invite you to take full advantage of that opportunity. Specifically, I invite you to engage with the speakers and the other attendees in the chat of the Zoom. Please introduce yourselves, share your LinkedIn profile, say hello to your friends, and make some new ones. And ask questions of our speakers. We will try to address as many of those as possible during the session. Also, please make sure your chat is set to address everyone, not just the host and speakers. I want to thank our program sponsors, for without their support, we could not do this for free. Special thank you to First Horizon Bank, Turnkey ZRG, the Tennessee Entertainment Commission, MedJet, Tennessee Brew Works, Project Music, and Better Than Booze. A quick note about MedJet, because I know a lot of you are heavy travelers. MedJet is the number one rated international medical transport and security response membership for travelers. If you travel, especially internationally, you need to look into this. Let's get down to business. In today's host seat, we welcome the incredible Deborah Evans-Price. She believes everyone has a story to tell, and as a journalist, she considers it a privilege to share those stories with the world. Deborah contributes to Billboard's CMA Close Up, Jesus Calling, First for Women, Women's World, and Country Top 40 with fits among other outlets. Winner of the CMA Association's 2013 Media Achievement Award, Deborah's interviewed such luminaries as Dolly Parton, Don Henley, Andrea Bocelli, Carrie Underwood, Mario Andretti, Reba McEntire, Garth Brooks, Dennis Quaid, Dionne Warwick, Hoda Kotb, Valerie Bertinelli, Tim Tebow, and Luke Bryan, among many other stars. As an author, she's penned Country Faith Christmas, and the CMA Awards Vault. She serves as executive producer for the Country Faith Music Series. Country Faith Bluegrass won Gospel Music Association Dove Award and 2 International Bluegrass Music Association Awards. Deborah was also honored with the Cindy Walker Humanitarian Award from the Academy of Western Artists in 2022. Welcome, Deborah. It is such an honor to have you here today.
Thank you so much, Tom. Boy, no wonder I'm tired after hearing all that. But it made me realize just how blessed I am to get to do something I love so much.
Good on you. Hold that thought one moment. And joining her as today's featured guest is the incomparable Gloria Gaynor. Gloria is a 2-time Grammy Award winner and boasts a remarkable career spanning over 5 decades, marked by global stardom with hit songs in every decade. Beyond her musical prowess, she has delved into film, television, and Broadway. Among many things we will discuss today is the upcoming release of a documentary by Storyville Entertainment that unveils Gloria's indomitable spirit, overcoming hardships like illness, paralysis, and personal tragedies. In 2023, Gloria, ever evolving, worked on co-writing songs in Nashville for an upcoming EP. Her ventures extend to the fragrance world with a new perfume as well. Touring the world with her band, she graced stages at prestigious festivals and collaborated with luxury brands. Gloria's musical journey continued with collaborations, a roots gospel album. Not confined just to music, she dazzled on The Masked Singer and made her film debut in the Thursday Night Club. Gloria's philanthropy shines through, supporting charities and earning a behavioral sciences degree. Her second book, We Will Survive, garnered a Grammy nomination showcasing the impact of her anthem, I Will Survive. Gloria Gaynor, an enduring icon, inspires and uplifts with her resilience, musical genius, and unwavering commitment to empowering diverse audiences worldwide. Folks, it is my pleasure to welcome these two rock stars to our platform today. Take it away, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Tom. Oh my goodness. Gloria, we have had so many wonderful interviews, and I have been looking forward to this conversation today. You're just one of my favorite people to talk to. And you've got so many things going on. And I'm excited. I was just looking through the chat, and my friend Janie, amazing song plugger, realtor here in Nashville, Randy Owen. I see people popping up from Italy, Memphis, the UK. So first off, thanks everyone for joining us. I'm just so happy that everybody could tune in today and hear what this wonderful lady has to say. First thing, we have a lot to cover, but first thing I wanted to ask you about was your recent trip to Saudi Arabia. I understand you were hanging out with Kevin Costner and a lot of wonderful people.
Oh, yeah.
At the Joy Awards.
Pardon?
What are at the Joy Awards.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about that experience.
It was great. The Joy Awards is an award show that commends and awards people for all different areas of the entertainment industry. And so it was great. And there were such an array of people there. I was pleased to meet Kevin Costner and Anthony Hopkins and Anthony Anderson and Martin Lawrence and several others. It was just a great experience and just really fun. The hotel we were in was awesome. It was great fun. It was a great time.
That's neat. You know, of course, here in America, you're a national treasure, but really the scope of your success globally is just so impressive. And I want you to talk a little bit about one of my favorite people I've ever interviewed, is Andrea Bocelli. And I understand that, like, he asked you to be part of a very special event he was doing last year. Tell us a little bit about that. That had to be just an incredible experience.
It was an event for his charity, and such a loving, wonderful, outgoing family, just beautiful people. And we had a wonderful time there performing. First, he performed, did a concert with a large orchestra outdoors. It was wonderful. You see him standing on the stage, and behind him is the moon. I'm like, I'm loving this. And so I got to sing with him a song called Bésame Mucho. And I chose that song because my mother used to sing it. And we had a wonderful time doing it. It was just a great experience, really wonderful experience.
When you're performing for audiences in other countries, does it just really kind of hit home to you how music is a universal language?
Absolutely. Absolutely. It is the one thing that always brings people together.
That is so true. Oh my gosh. You know, it's when you open your mouth and start singing, everybody feels the same thing in here, whether it's you're singing in their language or not. One of the things that I'm so excited about, and I had the opportunity to see it early on, thanks to the director, Betsy Shanker, is your incredible documentary, Gloria Gaynor, I Will Survive.
Yes.
It won the Nashville Audience Award at the Nashville Film Festival back in the fall. It's just getting rave reviews from everyone who's seen it. Yes. How did it get kicked off, Gloria? Who came to you with this idea, and why did you want to put yourself out there in a documentary like that?
I honestly don't remember who initiated the idea. My manager brought it to me, Stephanie Gold, and I just really felt that I should do it because I wanted to share with people the idea that we all have problems. I'm not exempt because I'm a so-called star. And so I wanted to share with them not only that I have problems, but because people say, yeah, you got problems taking care of your money, and things like that. They don't realize that we're human beings just like everybody else, and we have the same kinds of problems and situations and circumstances in our lives that sometimes we think are insurmountable and yet hope we'll survive. So I wanted to share with them how I have survived these things, because I realize that the things that I've used to survive and to overcome the problems in my life are available to everybody.
And I think people are going to take so much inspiration from this documentary. It is just astounding. But one thing I want to really emphasize to our viewers today is it's only in theaters one night only. It's
Yeah.
going to be February 13th, which everybody refers to as Galentine's Day. So, like, I love the timing of that.
Oh,
Was
yeah.
that your idea to have it on that night?
No, that was the idea of my team that stands behind me and holds me up.
Oh,
Yeah,
Stephanie and Tom and Betsy, you have really got a great bunch of people around you.
I
That
do.
just makes such a difference, I think, for any artist,
Oh, absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
But yeah, it's going to be, February 13th, one night only. I think most places are doing two showings at 4 o'clock and 7 o'clock, but people need to, like, there's a button they can click on that they can go ahead and order their tickets because this thing is going to sell out. And
Mm,
when you click for more information and they can look at your website, then they
mm,
can track down a theater nearest them to where they can see
right.
it. And so, yeah, it'll be a nice little pre Valentine's Day thing for people to go out and enjoy.
Especially when,
Yeah.
so a lot of my friends are coming in different parts of the country. They're getting groups together to go, and that's going to be fun. That's going to be a lot.
Oh yeah, because there's nothing like seeing this, particularly with the music up on the
Mm,
big screen. Everybody's going to be singing along. I mean, it's not just a documentary. I feel like it's an event. The way that Betsy has crafted it, it
mm,
she
yeah.
and she shines a light on some of the darkest times in your life. And as I was watching it, I was crying. I'm thinking, oh, how did you relive some of that, Gloria? I don't mean to be getting emotional on you, but you've had a whole lot more trials and challenges, I think, than most casual fans realize. What was the hardest thing for you to let people see about your life when they see this documentary?
The things that are really personal, like the abuses that I suffered, and the things that let people realize that you were just plain stupid. Those were a little difficult um, for me to share, But again, I think, you know what? I'm not smart enough to make an original mistake. So other people have gone through these things as much as I have, and I think it's incumbent upon me to share the way out of those
Mm-hmm.
circumstances, And so I've done that, and I'm very pleased about it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And the link is popping up. So here's the link to share this. And Norwood just popped up and said for people to be looking at Malco Roxy, their local Malco Roxy cinemas, it'll be available there. So thank you for the tips that are popping up in the chat. People are excited about letting everybody know where they can see it, part of it.
Yeah.
Um, One of the things that was really heart wrenching to watch was talking about your health struggles. I don't
Mm.
know if some people realize, just like physically, the things that you had to combat there for a while. Talk a little bit about what happened to you and the way back from it.
Well, the biggest problem probably initiated most of the problems after that was the fall that I had on stage in a theater in New York City, and ended up paralyzed from the waist down for a short period of time, but nonetheless, there were ongoing problems after that, and I was in hospital for 3.5 months, and came out of the hospital with nowhere to go as far as my career. Well, nowhere to go physically, and nowhere to go as far as my career was concerned. And so that was a huge challenge that I had to overcome, a huge mountain to climb, and was able to climb it through my faith. Was able to deal with that through my faith.
Oh my goodness, that had to be so scary. Career setbacks are one thing, but when you're battling a health condition that looks like it could end your career, oh my goodness. I mean,
Mm.
was it just like you said, your faith and just
Yeah.
prayer and
It
a good
was it
team of
was just my
doctors?
faith. I kept repeating, God has not given me a spirit of fear, but a spirit of love and power and a sound mind. And so I kept holding on to the different scriptures like that, and just really believing them to be true, and believing that this was a matter of time, and that during that time, I was not to sit and wallow in self-pity. I was to be preparing myself for whatever God was going to do afterwards. So I was in constant prayer and constantly trying to allow God to lead me to what he would have me do during the interim, in the wilderness, as we say. What am I to do? How am I to grow? How am I to prepare myself for what you have for me next?
That's true. I can see a lot of people in the chat that what you're saying is really resonating. Consuelo is just agreeing with you wholeheartedly. Yeah.
Mm.
Faith is like, I don't know about you, Glory, but I tend to think everybody believes the way that I do. And then I'm
Mm.
surprised when they don't. I know that's kind of naive, especially at my age, but
Mm. Yeah,
I don't know how anybody gets through a day
I
without
don't either.
being able to pray and just know that God's with them.
Yeah.
I did an interview earlier this week with Hoda Kotb from the Today Show, and she
Mm-hmm.
was saying that she gets up and starts every day by writing a note to God and thanking
Mm.
Him for that day and asking Him to help her keep her eyes open to every moment because this is a
Mm-hmm.
day that we'll never get again. And I just
Yes.
thought that was just so lovely and such a reminder of, you know, the best way to start the day, really.
Oh yeah, I always say he's my first cup of coffee, my last cup of tea.
Oh, I love that. Love that.
Yeah.
Another part of the documentary that was really heartbreaking was your sister. And
Mm.
talk a little bit about, a lot of people may not know what happened to your sister, and that was just devastating. I mean, I can't
Yeah.
imagine going through that kind of tragedy.
It was terrible. It was really awful because, and another thing I often say is she died the way she lived, and by that I mean she was always helping people. She was just that kind of person, and she was on her way to the store on Thanksgiving morning, going to get the cranberry sauce that we always forgot. And she met a neighbor along the way. They started chatting. They didn't know each other, but they knew that from just seeing each other in the neighborhood. And this fellow came up and started talking to the woman. And my sister continued walking, and she heard them yelling, and she turned around, and the guy was beating the woman. And my sister went back to assist, and he ended up just killing her.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh my gosh. Was he brought to justice? Not that.
Yes, he was. He was brought to justice, and he was put in jail. And when he did get out, I don't remember now how many years later, he didn't serve the full sentence, but he served a lot of years. But he looked up my sister to tell her that he was sorry. He didn't really, because he was only 18 years old.
Ooh.
And said he was sorry for what he had done, and he hadn't realized how he had ruined, disrupted their lives, and what a terrible thing he had done to them, as well as my sister. And so, I mean, it didn't help anything except I was glad that he had felt that he had learned a lesson, and that he had made some changes, that he had grown, through that.
Yeah. Was that
A lot
hard
of
to?
times that you hear that people go to jail and learn anything.
Yeah, that's true. It was it hard to share that in the documentary, and it seems like that'd be kind of like opening a wound again.
It was, but it was in some ways cathartic, you know.
Mhm.
I'm just kind of getting rid of some of the scar tissue, you know.
Yeah.
It was like that because again, my purpose is to help people to understand how you can overcome and get through all of these trials and tribulations that we go through in life.
Yeah. That it's going to be interesting to see all the feedback that you get from viewers after this airs.
Yeah.
Are you kind of excited to see what people think? And I know your schedule's crazy
Mm.
busy, but like, will you be responding to some of the feedback you get?
I will as much as I can. Like you said, my schedule is really busy, especially during this time. But I am interested to know how people are responding and what they think of what I said and how I've handled, the trials and tribulations of my life.
Yeah. And another thing is, like, a lot of times when people hear "I will survive," they automatically think of a relationship that they got out of and
Mm.
persevered,
Mm-hmm.
and that you have had that scenario play out, in your life too. You've
Oh yes.
survived a divorce and
Mm-hmm.
difficult things. What do you say, Gloria, specifically to women that may be in the thick of something now? What do you say to encourage them that they will see better days?
That this situation that you're going through is not who you are. It's just something that is happening to you, and you need to assess yourself. You need to pray and ask God's help, to help you see your way through it, because there is always a way through. And this isn't your last chance at a relationship. I often say of my relationship, God had to drop a house on me. He said, I'm gonna have to drop a house on my baby girl because she's stupid. Because here's what I've learned. I think the greatest thing I've learned about relationships between men and women is that we women fall in love with a man's potential. And we purpose to help him. People say we're trying to change men. We're not trying to change them. We're trying to help them reach their potential. But what we need to recognize is that you can't help somebody reach a potential that they're not trying to reach, or they don't even know exists. He's got to want that for himself before you can help him to get it.
That is so true. Gloria, I've heard people say that men and women go into marriage with the woman thinking she can change the man, and the men thinking that the woman's never going to change.
Well,
and they're both surprised.
Yeah, well, I mean, we all change, but and like I said, I don't think we're really interested in changing the men. I think we're interested in, like I said, helping them reach their potential. And they perceive that as us trying to change them. It's just trying to help them to see what we see in them.
That's true.
That's true. And reach to bring that forward and make the best of it, use it to the best of their ability for their own good as much as ours.
That's true. Because when you love somebody, you want what's the best for them.
You want them to be the best version of themselves.
Exactly. You want them to be, like you said, the best version of themselves and to reach their greatest potential, Exactly. I totally get that. Yeah. When do you feel like, you said you felt like God kind of had to just like drop it on you, and say, wake up. How did you, when you got on the other side of that difficult relationship, how did you feel then? And what did that do for your creativity? Like, I would think it would be like coming out of a dark house and then all of a sudden, boom, you got a lot to say.
It was great. I started writing songs about relationships between man and woman, relationship between God and yourself. And I just began to grow, and I began to reclaim the person that I was before I met my husband. And that was the person that my mother had nurtured. And that was even long before I met him. I had started to, because my mother had passed away, kind of lost my moral compass for a minute and lost my sense of self-worth and self-esteem, and had to just really buried down inside so much of what God had given me. And I had to bring all of that out, or bring all of that back to fore. And so it wasn't until after my marriage that that woman began to come back alive, and I began to look inside and say, what is wrong with you? This is not who you are. This is not who you are, and this is not who you have to stay. You don't have to continue being this wilting flower, in someone else's shadow. You can shine and you can grow and you can be everything that God created and made you to be. And so I just began to grow and look inside myself and firm up my relationship with him, and learn to walk with him and hear him better, and take heed, because we all hear from God. We just don't take heed. And then I began to understand how, we pray, we ask for God for answers, and then we jump up, run off. We don't wait for the answer. Yeah. So I learned to linger and wait, and be patient. In fact, he told me very clearly, you have need of patience.
I think patience is a struggle for all of us,
And see, that's the most frustrating thing about God. He is never in a hurry, because he literally has all the time in the world. I'm like, you know what? I don't, Father.
I agree. I feel that way so many times. And there is a lovely lady named Emily that wanted me to ask you, she's in the chat, about some of the people you've collaborated with. Like, talk a little bit about some of those experiences, and has there been somebody that you've worked with that maybe changed your perspective a little bit?
Well, I've had people change my perspective as far as my singing is concerned, as far as my recording is concerned, even as far as my writing is concerned. I've learned to write fewer words, because I'm one of those people who, why say something in 2 words when you can say it in 20? So, so, so I had to hone myself in, and it doesn't take all that explanation, you know what I mean? And so I've learned to do that. It's not easy. It's still not easy to do that. But I've learned that, and I've learned to really speak about the things that other people have asked me about, that they want to know about. You know what I'm saying? Because there's no sense writing songs that no one wants to hear, that no one wants to listen to. It's all about you. So I've learned to be more extrovert in my writing, and just how to collaborate. They've taught me how to collaborate, because I didn't really know that before. I was only writing by myself. So I've learned how to collaborate, and I've met such wonderful people. You know, I'm writing with people who have like Liz Rose and Kaylee Hammock and Caitlin Smith and Michael Pollock and Sam Tenez, Matt Brownlee, and of course my producer Chris Stevens. You know, with these wonderful people that have written for great artists like Taylor Swift, Miley Cyrus, Meghan Trainor, Dolly Parton. You know, they've written for wonderful artists, and they've gotten huge hits. And so I'm all ears when I'm when I'm working with them, you know, for their input into me, because they are the writers. I'm the singer, they're the writers. And so I'm consistently trying to learn from them. And I've learned a lot from them.
Yeah. Oh, I know you just mentioned some of the most incredible people in Nashville. And Consuelo was asking in the chat if we could have those names, and hopefully Tom may be able to put those co-writers in the chat, because we would love to give them even more attention. You've just written with some incredible people. And Gloria, I'm trying to think, you and I've done a lot of phone interviews over the years for different publications, but I think the first time I met you face to face, I was so nervous and so excited. It was in the studio here in Nashville, and you were cutting a song for the Testimony album with my friend Jason Crabb singing over me. So I got to be in the studio and watch you and Jason. Talk a little bit about working with him. He is like one of my favorite people.
Jason is, he is just so sweet and so kind and funny. He's hilarious. And we just had such a great time. We came together so quickly and became kindred spirits so quickly. And it was just wonderful, wonderful working with him, writing with him. And it was funny because I wrote with him and I wrote with, what's his name? Bart Millard. And
yes,
neither one of them wanted, for Mercy Me, yes. And neither one of them wanted to write the song that they wrote. They wanted to write a song that one of the other guys had written with me. So neither one of them did their own songs. But the songs that they did great. The songs that they wrote great. And it was just such a wonderful experience working with them.
Testimony. I mean, you have got so many great hit songs and so many incredible albums in your body of work. But Gloria, Testimony, my favorite Gloria Gaynor album. It's just such an incredible project. And now you did this on your own. Like, you didn't have a big label saying, hey, how about this? Or hey. So, and it won the Grammy for Best Roots Gospel Album. I mean, just so it resonated so strongly with so many people. So, but talk a little bit about why you wanted to do a gospel album and how you approached it, how you got the ball rolling and made that Grammy-winning album happen.
Well, I've been wanting to do a gospel album for years. It was something that it was on my heart, and my previous management kept saying, "Oh, that's a good idea. Let's do that. As soon as we finish this, and oh, yes, that's right. We got to do. As soon as we finish that, stalling and putting me off, and just filibustering until I just kind of gave up, and then when I got new management who appreciates me and respected my designs and desires for my own life and career, I was able to pull that together. Of course, the record labels were not interested at all in a disco singer who suddenly wanted to sing gospel music, because I think that many times they're afraid that it's just a whim, something you want to be able to say you did, and some like kind of brownie points with God or something, and not really living or believing what you're singing. And that was so not true of me, but I had no way of making them know and understand that. And they weren't asking anyway. They just assumed that, I wasn't worthy. I was I decided, well, I'm going to do this on my own. And if it's what God wants me to do, then it'll come to fruition. And it did. And like you said, not only came to fruition, it won a Grammy, which was so validating and so encouraging for me, because this comes from your peers. This comes from people who know in the business, know what it means and what it takes to do a work like that. And so it was very, very encouraging and validating for me. I was very happy about that.
Oh yeah. Once you decided you were going to make a gospel album, what were some of the things that you wanted to say? Because like you didn't take the easy route and just record your favorite hymns. I mean, like you wrote some incredible songs for this project. So once you started, what did you want to say to people?
I wanted people to hear my faith in these songs. I wanted them to be uplifted. I wanted to be encouraged, inspired, which is, it's just my life. It's how I live my life. And I wanted people to be able to sing the songs for themselves and get from them what I got from them, or what I put into them. And so those were the things that caused me to choose the songs that I chose, to write the songs that I wrote, and to bring forth the emotions that I brought into those songs. And I'll never forget, we did the one song we did, "Singing Over Me," was Chris Stevens' idea, and I was like, oh, okay, okay, we'll do that. And as we're writing it, I'm thinking, God singing over me. I said, is that biblical? And I mean, I've read the Bible from Genesis to Revelations at least 20 times, but I didn't remember that. And so I went looking and I found the scripture that says he's singing over you, singing over. I was like, okay, it's good. I can do this. I felt so much better after I read that. And then, of course, it was a wonderful thought that whatever I'm going through, God is singing over me. So he is not concerned at all that I'm going to make it through this, because he knows he's going to be there to help me through it and all of that. And I'm like, okay, this is great. This is a wonderful idea. It's going to be a great song.
Yeah. Norwood is saying in the chat, preach. I agree. And Tom was so kind to share the Spotify link. So anybody that's watching us, if you haven't heard this album, do yourself a favor. It will bless you. It is just such a great record. And Gloria, it would have been wonderful to have done a gospel album early in your career. But do you feel like, because you were further into the career before you did this kind of record, do you feel like it's a whole different project than if you had done it in your 20s or 30s? Talk a little bit about bringing the life that you put into the
Absolutely. I was able to bring experience that I didn't have when I first wanted to do it. I mean, I had some experience then, but nothing like what I've gone through now. And we all know, when you hear accounts of difficulties from people who have actually lived them and have come through them, it's a whole different story from someone telling other people's stories. When you know that this person has lived through that. And I often say, if you have a beautiful garden, people aren't as much interested. If they want to be a gardener, they're not as much interested in your flowers as they are in your seeds. They're not as much interested in your seeds as they are in your flowers. So people want to see the result of what you're telling them. So when you can tell them what you're going through and that you're struggling and that you're making it through, that's okay. But when you can tell them, I have gone through this, I have survived this, and this is what has flourished in my life since I've survived that, that is so much more appealing and so much more helpful to people. Than sitting there, oh yeah, I'm going through this here, but I'm toughing it out. They're like, yeah, we toughing it out too. So we're not any help to each other.
That's true. That is so true. And to me, you can just hear in somebody's voice when they've lived a lyric.
Mm. Yeah, yeah.
There is just something so different about
Mm-hmm.
just that heart and that experience behind
Yeah,
it.
absolutely.
And I got to say, like, would anybody ever ask me my favorite song? I always say Amazing Grace. I mean, that's just always been my favorite song. The
Mm-hmm.
version you do on Testimony, oh,
Mm-hmm.
it's incredible. So how did you approach that? Like when you decide that you're going to cover one of the best loved gospel songs of all time, how do you step into the studio and do that? What was your approach and how did you make it? Oh, just how incredible like it is. I love it.
Well, Chris Stevens, the producer, came up with the idea to do Amazing Grace. And I wanted to infuse those lyrics that have been so near and dear to me for my whole life with with experience and why Amazing Grace is so important to me and what it has done for me, what his amazing grace has done for me, because the original song talks about pretty much what it will do, uh, um, but what it has done for me is what I wanted to, and I wanted to make it really personal, and it is very, very personal, you know.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it is. And I love the version of Take My Hand, Precious Lord, because you got Jason, Mike Ferris, woo, talk about a
Mm.
voice, and
Oh,
Bart for Mercy Me.
oh yeah,
That
oh yeah.
that is just, I mean,
That was
there's
like the ultimate trio.
it
Ultimate
is.
trio. They
Oh my
were
goodness.
so
You've
great.
got and you got some incredible people. Yolanda Adams.
Mm-hmm.
Woo! Talk about
Oh
two of
my
my
God.
favorite voices on one song. I mean, talk
Oh,
about
girlfriend
Jesus.
brought the thunder. She brought the thunder. She really did. It was
Uh,
incredible working with her. It was great
yeah.
having
Yeah, how did you decide who you wanted to invite to be part of Testimony? Because you've got some
her.
great collaborators. Like
So
Emily
many
mentioned
people, you
earlier.
know what? We contacted a load of people, and we said we loved them all. So we just decided the first ones that respond, those are the ones we're going to use. And so they were the first ones that responded, and and were available. Not only, but others responded as quickly as they did, but they weren't available when we needed them to be.
Yeah,
So those was a kind of our process of elimination.
that's neat. Did you enjoy recording here in Nashville?
Oh yeah, it was great just being in Nashville. I love Nashville. It was great being there. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, I've lived here 40 years now, Gloria. Like
Mm.
before that, I was an Air Force brat. So we lived in Japan,
Ah,
lived in New Jersey, where you live,
wonderful.
and all over. But it's
Wow.
like after college, I landed in Nashville and just stayed.
Ah,
It's just a great place. You need to spend more time here.
yeah, I know. I know. Yeah, I do like it a lot.
Yeah. And I see Norwood saying you need to come to Memphis. Of course, yeah, talk about another great music city, all the history.
Mm-hmm.
Oh
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Oh
Bill
yeah.
Street and Sun Records,
Yeah.
and yeah, Tennessee is like there's a area they call kind of the music trail that kind of goes through Tennessee and Memphis and down into Muscle Shoals. And if anybody ever wants to just like take a road trip, there's just so many great sites along that trail to
Mm-hmm.
see.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the things too that I loved about the documentary is the inside glimpse it gives everybody into the making of Testimony. So
Mm-hmm.
as you and Betsy and Steph were, deciding how the documentary should take shape, why give so much emphasis to Testimony? I'm glad that you did, but I was wondering, you know, what the thought process was behind shining a light on that record.
Well, like I said, just opportunity to share, and no better way to share your feelings, your thoughts, your hopes, your dreams, your aspirations, your accomplishments than through music. There's just no better
Mm-hmm.
way, because there's no way that you're going to get to more people, and there's no better way to get people to hear and understand what you're trying to say to them. You can say it in a way, 10 people can read a book and get 10 different things from reading the exact same words.
Mm-hmm.
And the same thing can happen when you hear a recording, but it's easier for you to get across your emotions in a recording. They may get different things from what they hear, but they'll all hear the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
When you do a recording. So it was just something that I really wanted to do, to share with people through my music what I've lived through.
Mm-hmm. It's true. And one of the things too is I love that you go into the incredible making of the record. It won a Grammy. I think it's such an encouragement to people, to artists, to follow their own creative vision. Even like you said, your management at the time wasn't supportive of you doing a gospel album. I mean, the fact that you made this record, it won a Grammy, and you did this on your own terms. I think,
Mm-hmm.
Gloria, that speaks volumes to other artists.
Yeah.
That is it's sending them such an encouraging and inspirational message.
Yeah, yeah. You
Mm-hmm.
have to continue to be who you are. And that's the reason why we named it. You'll notice that there isn't a song on the album called Testimony.
No. Mm-mm.
Most albums are named for one of the songs on the album.
Mm-hmm.
But and that's because the whole album, all of the songs are my testimony. Each
Mm-hmm.
one is a part of my testimony, of my faith walk, of my relationship with the Lord, of my life, and what I've come through, how I've come through, that you can come through, if you're listening. So that's the reason for the name, and I don't think it could have been more aptly named,
Mm-hmm.
because it truly is my testimony.
Mm-hmm. I agree. And I once again want to remind people that the documentary is just in theaters one night only. That's February 13th. So they need to click on that link, find out where it's available, and go ahead and get their tickets before it sells out, because they
Yeah.
won't want to miss this. Because, like I said, not only does it illuminate all the things that you've gone through in your life, and just your perseverance and your faith,
Mm.
and how you have met and got through every challenge with God's help, but also just it shows your music and how you
Mm.
approach making a record. It's just such a great inside look into your whole life and career. And
Mm.
the link to get the movie tickets is popping up there. Take a look at that. I wanted to ask you, I'm excited because, like, one of the good things about being a journalist is we get to hear music early. So
Mm.
thanks to Stephanie and Tom, your wonderful management team, I got to hear a couple of new songs. I'm
Yes.
so excited. So tell people a little bit about Gloria's Waiting. That is just phenomenal. Who did you
Thank
write
you.
that with, and what was
With
the
with
inspiration for
with
that?
Matt Brownlee and Sam Tenness. Um, they are great writers who write a lot of songs for to go into films and television and things like that. So we wrote this song thinking of the Olympics.
Oh,
And I was great writing with them as well. They are prolific writers and very easy to work with, And so I'm so glad that we came up with that song, and one other song we come up so far. We will be writing together more, but I think that song is very inspiring for Olympic hopefuls.
oh, I think it is too.
Hope we get through anything that, because our lives are Olympics, you know.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
There's like one hurdle after another sometimes, doesn't
Mhm.
it?
Yeah, yeah.
I tell you, the other new song that I heard, Reaching the Gold,
Mm.
that one, oh my gosh, like you mentioned the Olympics. The first
Mm.
time I heard that song, I just couldn't quit playing it. And I thought, oh, I can see somebody getting their gold medal and that song playing in the background. So
Yeah.
I don't know anybody connected with the Olympics, but if there's anybody out there, they need to put this song would just be perfect. So talk a little bit about writing that one. Oh my gosh, did you have the Olympics in mind with Reaching the Gold?
Yes, we did. We definitely had that in mind. Just thinking about all the Olympic hopefuls that are on the different areas, different events in the Olympics, and recognizing that that's what they're all doing. They're all
Mm-hmm.
reaching for the gold, but we in our lives are always reaching for the gold, in our relationships and our jobs, in our personal lives. We're all reaching for the goal. We're reaching to be the best that we can be, the best version of ourselves. And that's what we ought to be doing. And so to have that music, just to think of that when you're when you're toughing it out, you know, it's something I think can help you keep you going, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, both those songs are so inspirational. So is this part of an album that you're working on, an EP, or when can people expect to be able to hear the new music?
Well, hopefully before the year is out, we'll be able to hear from it. It is definitely a part of an EP that we're hoping to release in the not too distant future.
Mm-hmm. Well, these two songs, you're off to a great start with those two. What are some of the, because the last album, the last gospel album, winning a Grammy, does that make you feel any extra pressure, Gloria? Or are you nervous because you're like, woo, last one won a Grammy. I got to deliver, even more on this one. Or does that even get into your thought process when you're doing a record?
No, I adopted a philosophy when I first started recording. This recording that I'm doing right now is the best that I can do right now. Might not be as good as the last thing I did, might be not be as good as the next thing I do, but it's the best I can do right now. And my mother used to say, even an angel can't do better than his best. So you can rest assured that whatever you receive from me, you're getting my best for when I did that.
Oh, yeah. Well, people need to keep an eye on your website and for updates on when the new music is coming. And, what do you want to say to people with this next record? Or is that message still evolving?
Yeah, I kind of think that message is still evolving because I'm always looking to inspire, uplift, and empower, and that's what any music coming from me is hopefully going to do. At least that's going to be my aim.
Yeah. With everything, Gloria, and I know this sounds like a trite question, but with everything that you've accomplished, what's still on that bucket list?
An Oscar.
Ooh, I can see that.
Yes,
I can see that.
Oscar.
I can see that.
I would love to get an Oscar, but I spend more time being concerned with my real public because the people who give out Grammys and Oscars and all of those things, they know what it takes to hone your craft and to bring the best of you out to other people. But they're individuals, and there are a small amount of individuals. There's a much bigger audience that I'm performing for, that I'm creating for. And so I'm far more interested in how they feel about me and what they think of me than I am about these organizations. And I think everyone in those organizations feels the same way. They may not verbalize it, but they will feel the same way. And hopefully they're going to appreciate how I'm thinking and how I'm feeling. I'm always purposing to minister to my broad public.
Yeah. Yeah. You do a wonderful job of sharing the gospel and encouraging people. And I feel like that we all need that now more than ever. You know what I mean? It's just it's the hard time in this world. People need to be reminded that, that there is amazing grace, and that God is singing over us, as you and Jason sang, and
joy does come in the morning.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's true. I wonder, Gloria, when you first, if you take us all the way back to when you recorded I Will Survive, did you have any inkling that all these years later, people would still be singing that? People would be dancing every time they hear it, no matter where they are. That song is just so important and so iconic. Did you have any idea that tune would do what it has done all these years?
I had no idea of how long it would last, but I did believe that it would be popular as it was the first year it was released. It would be just that popular for every year that they continued to play it and make it available to the public. I did believe that because I knew that mankind wasn't going to change that much. We were always going to need something to help us, spur us along, and help us to recognize that if we continue, if we are tenacious about making it through our problems and becoming better for them and with them, that this song would be popular, a popular tool for helping people to recognize and attain that.
Mm-hmm. And I got to say, I posted a thing on Facebook about our conversation today to let everybody know that we were doing it. And you should have seen all the cute little comments and memes and all.
Oh,
Everybody,
great.
like, that song just invites joy. You know what I mean? It just
Yes.
invites, people
Yes.
just love to have fun with it, love to sing along to it. And,
Mm-hmm.
most artists, Gloria, there might be people that have incredible careers. You've had an incredible career, but
Mm-hmm.
not everybody, honey, gets a song like that. Like when you think about your career, and I mean, you've had a lot of great hits, but
Mm-hmm.
not everybody gets something that just kind of transcends entertainment and becomes an anthem for so many people.
Absolutely. Absolutely. This has been a gift to me to share with the world.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And okay, I hate to ask you this and put you on the spot, but do you ever get tired of singing it?
No.
Oh.
I never get tired of singing it because that song is the one song that I can rely on to help me do what I always wanted to do from the very onset of my career. And that is to always give the audience something that will last them beyond the duration of the concert.
Yeah, that is so true.
Yeah.
That is, oh my goodness. I just saw, I think, 407 million streams on Spotify and counting. Woo! What a statistic. That is,
Great.
congratulations. I mean, and
Thank you.
still going. And
Great.
tell people a little bit about what they can expect on the road this year. Are you going out and doing a lot of dates, or are you focusing on your studio work?
I'm definitely doing some studio work, but I'm also doing live performances, or some in other countries, some here in the United States. Not working as much as I used to on stage, but certainly still working. I always say I'm going to live till I die, and I just don't know when I'll ever get to the place where I'll say I'm done. I've had it enough. No, still going out. Yeah.
That's cool. Gloria, who were your mentors? Who were the people that inspired you and taught you?
I when I first began to sing, I didn't know whether or not I should take voice lessons, but whether I could or not, should or not, I couldn't afford them. So I learned from people who I thought had something to teach me, such as Ella Fitzgerald with her styling and her range, Gloria Lynn, Nancy Wilson, Nat King Cole, Frank Sinatra. Like from Nat King Cole and Frank Sinatra, I learned um, um, diction and phrasing. These are things that I don't think young people think about in music today. They don't think about making sure that I'm singing a song. I'm not a hummingbird. I'm singing a song, so people need to know what I'm saying and what. So I learned, like I said, diction from that. They need to get the emotion that I'm trying to bring forward, so that you do that with not only with vocal technique, but with phrasing. So I learned all those things from people like that.
Consuelo was in the chat just agreeing with you wholeheartedly. And Jerry Limbo wanted to thank you for sharing your faith and for saying the things you're saying. And I just want to thank everybody who's in the chat participating. And we've got gospel music legend Roland Lundy is with us on the chat. And he used to run Word Records. He is the man that helped establish Amy Grant's career and so many others. So it's great to see all these people participating, and what you're saying, Gloria, is just resonating so strongly with everybody, that I was wondering, in addition to the two songs that I've heard, any, like, have you got other songs finished? If so, I'm going to be pestering your management to hear the rest of them.
Well, there are other songs that we finished writing, but we haven't recorded anything other than those two. Okay. But there are other songs that with some good stuff coming. Some good stuff.
Cool. Well, are you going to have any special guests on this album, the way you did Testimony?
I haven't decided yet. I haven't honestly decided about that yet. Perhaps. That'd be nice. I'd like it.
Yeah. Who would be, like, if you don't mind saying, who would be on your, like, wish list for, who haven't you collaborated with? Because I mean, from Andrea Bocelli to Jason to Bart to Yolanda, I mean, everybody wants to sing with you. But like, is there somebody that who would be your dream collaborator that you haven't worked with yet?
Alicia Keys would be nice.
Ooh, that would
And
be
John
nice.
Legend. Oh,
Oh, that's got to happen.
I'd love to
You,
record
oh,
some.
y'all would sound incredible. Oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
that'd be nice.
And I'm looking. We just got about 5 more minutes, and I'm going to bring up something that they always say don't bring up. But if anybody looks at Wikipedia, they will be as shocked as that I was that you turned 80 last September. Honey,
Yes.
I'm looking at you, and I don't see a day over 39. Oh my gosh!
Thank you. I love
Seriously,
you. I love you before, but now I love you even more.
I love you too. I'm just saying the truth. Look at that face. You have no wrinkles. Your skin glows. Like how do you keep up this such? I mean, you just got back from Saudi Arabia. You have such a demanding life and career. How are you so youthful? Where does your energy come from?
Jeans and Jesus.
I love that. That is perfect.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that is true. Yeah, you can't beat that combination,
No.
That is neat. Well, I'm looking. Does anyone have any questions before we have to wrap up? I am looking in the chat here. Oh, Tom just said that sounds like a great song title. I think he's right. That's it. James and Jesus.
Yeah.
That could be great.
Think about that. I'll keep that in mind.
Yep. Yeah. And Linda Yelnick just wants to say she loves you and she's going to watch I Will Survive.
Wonderful.
Yeah. So
Excellent.
I mean, I think it's really gonna resonate so strongly with people. And I love that you and your incredible director, Betsy, had just been so vulnerable and honest in sharing your story. There's nothing that's sugar coated, and I feel like you don't hold back anything from the audience. No. And that's not just a documentary, honey. Whether you're on stage or in the studio, you always give everything your all. I mean, you just have really blessed a lot of people just by being who you are. I mean, to get too sentimental, but it's true. They're just the way you share the gifts that God's given you is beautiful. I am just, anytime I get to speak with you, I'm just in awe. And I'm looking, we got 3 minutes, girlfriend. Anything else you want to tell people? I want to remind them once again, February 13th.
Oh, you know what? My fragrance. I have a fragrance coming out.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's called Survive by Gloria Gaynor. And you can get it on Talk Shop Live. Yeah, they can go on Talk Shop Live and they can find it, and perhaps they can get it in time for Galentine's Day or Valentine's Day. And yeah, and I mean, I love it. Of course, I love it. I'm the one who came up with the notes. And let me tell you something, ladies. The gentleman who did this for me asked me what did I wanted to do other than smell good, and I said I wanted to disarm.
Ooh,
yes.
I like that.
Because if we're going to be sure, we ladies are going to make sure that we get the men where we want them, we need to disarm them. Not worry about beating them at anything. Just disarm them.
Oh, that is great. I love that. And you're real active too with Talk Shop Live, right? So people can check out. You've got a lot of cool things going on. The documentary, live shows, the upcoming music. And like I said, reaching for the goals. Anybody connected with the Olympics, that I can just hear that song as people are getting their medals. So let's hope that the right people get that where it needs to be. And I can't wait to smell the fragrance. Were you real involved in like making sure that everything is exactly the way you wanted it?
Oh yeah. Had to.
That was cool.
And because of that, I'm very pleased with the outcome.
Yeah. Oh, I can't wait to sniff it. That's good. Well, thank you so much, honey. I'm looking. I think have just a few more seconds left before we have to sign off. Anything else you want to share with your fans?
Nothing. Just hope that they get from the film what they need to make their lives better.
Yeah, I'm sure they will. And once again, just want to remind people, February 13th, Galentine's Day. It one night only in theaters, and it's Gloria Gaynor. I Will Survive. Wonderful. Thank you so much. It's always such a pleasure.
Such a great pleasure.
Such
a pleasure.
Take care, honey. God bless. And thanks everyone for joining us. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thanks to everyone.
Well, guys, let me get in here real quick. Gloria, Wow. I consider me disarmed for sure. Um, you are remarkable. You're everything that I hoped you would be and more. You're an inspiration. You are just absolutely a treasure. You mentioned John Legend. We had John's manager, Ty Stakorius, on here about 18 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
So there are folks on here who have access to John Legend if you're serious about that collab.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So we'll circle back on that one. Deborah, wow, what an absolute pro you are. Again, I knew you were, and I knew you would be here, but you both just crushed this so well. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Tom.
Thank you so much.
To the audience, I promised you a treat today, and I know we delivered. So go forth and just bask in the glow of the hour you just spent with these two wonderful women. And my normal sign off is always be nice to each other. And as Deborah said a minute ago, we need that more than ever right now.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll let that be the closing remark. Go make it happen, folks.
Thanks so much. Goodbye.
Thank you.